Welcome everyone to another episode of The First Watch. I'm Dan LaMarca. As always, I'm joined by Dave Eggers.
I'll admit, I was impressed at first. I really was. But never underestimate the power of paranoia.
Oh, that gives that makes this movie sound a lot deeper than it is.
It does.
It's just us, Dave. We got no Ozzy.
No
Tom
Oz today,
Osborne,
yeah.
aka Oz, is not here. He had something come up. Had to miss this one. I do have. I'll deploy them when necessary, but I have his short take on the movie,
Okay.
and then I have if and where he would put it on his top 10.
See, that is interesting because I do think we should make him listen back to this and see if that changes.
See if he changes his mind. And then the last thing I have is what movie off of his list he's going to choose.
Okay.
So the silver lining to the fact that it's this episode is that 5 faves we just pick. We don't need to each give a pitch.
We don't need to pitch him.
Yeah. So at least he can do that ahead of time.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about a movie called The Raid.
Mm-hmm.
The Raid, coming off your 5 faves.
Big time.
It's from 2011 in Indonesia.
Yes.
2012 elsewhere. I believe it released. Oh, interesting. So it's listed as 2011, but that's because it debuted in Toronto.
Yeah.
In 2011. March 23rd, 2012, Indonesia, United States.
Mm-hmm.
And then the day before in Australia. So The Raid, it's going to be a short one because I don't have
It's probably sum it up in
I'll give
3
it quick.
sentences.
Yeah. You know what? Here's the Wikipedia summary. You ready?
Go for it.
The story follows an Indonesian National Police tactical squad that is deployed to raid a ruthless drug lord's apartment block in the slums of Jakarta, only to be encircled by the criminals, forcing them to fight their way through the complex.
Yeah.
That's pretty
much
good.
it, yeah.
I think the only... obviously we'll talk about scenes and things like that, but I think the opening of our main character, played by Iko Y,
Rama.
yes, is... he's with his wife who's expecting a baby.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to leave. Someone who appears to be his dad is or uncle is find him, get him back. Where is he? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're off.
Yeah. With our Normandy scene, basically. Or
Pretty
D-Day
much,
scene. Yeah.
Pretty much D-Day. Yeah. So yeah, again, not a lot to summarize.
The only twist is that there's a double cross type of deal.
Well,
really.
there are a few story bits that are worth discussing, but I think overall, I think that sums up the movie pretty well.
Movie. Yeah. I said it's very much like a video game where you work your way up.
It definitely is. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
It's a better version of Judge Dredd, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. So a little background. There's not really. This is gonna be an interesting episode because there's not really much to talk about around it either because it's Indonesian,
very small. I think it was shot for $1.1 million,
shot
made
for
9,
1.1, made 9.3.
Yeah.
It did release, as I mentioned, at TIFF.
Yeah.
Which obviously focus from reviews is cinematography, action, set pieces, right?
I mean, this was right in that time frame of we were. I don't know how into fighting movies you were, especially around that time.
Me, no, not really.
It was the golden age of really paving the way. Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa. There was so much going on. All even the Jet Li and Jason Statham stuff. All that stuff was coming around, and this really paves the way for a movie like John Wick to exist and have a franchise. There's actually some people who Mad Dog is in John Wick 3. Yeah, and Mad Dog and the guy who plays Rama are both actually in The Force Awakens. I didn't know that. I didn't remember that, but Mad Dog has a scene in John Wick 3. I think it's the 2v1 in the glass room, if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he's
that.
in there.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, some interesting. I mean, obviously, a lot of stuff came before it, and then stuff coming after. It's very interesting where it sits in that kind of milieu of these types of movies.
Yeah.
Gareth Evans is the director.
Mm-hmm.
Gareth Evans, the thing that's so interesting is I think this movie in particular has a huge cult following.
Yeah.
And so I know the name Gareth Evans. I feel like he looms large in my brain. And then I look at the movies that he's made, and it's really not much.
No, I don't think so.
He has a little independent film called Footsteps. Marantau is his like debut in 2009, which apparently had some positive buzz around it. Then The Raid in 2011, The Raid 2 in 2014, a movie called Apostle in 2018, which I don't know, and Havoc with Tom Hardy in 2025.
Yeah.
It's so funny how many times I've heard about this movie and how much I've heard about this director, and then there's nothing.
No.
We're having technical issues as usual. These microphones.
How about now? Better?
Yep.
Okay. No, yeah. I even was doing some reading. Like, he made a movie. I forget what the name of it was. And then they were trying to make another movie, and they couldn't get the funding they needed for that. So they made this instead with the same people, and it turned out great. And that's what it is. But yeah, no, there's such a cult following around this and like The Raid 2.
Huge.
But like, you don't know. Like, there's not much else that he did at this point.
No, I know. It's interesting. So I think about action movies strangely, I think about them to talk about on a podcast like this, similar to comedies, where it's like you're going to dissect the jokes and not much else, and then you're sitting there left talking. So like we're going to talk about a lot of these fight scenes and some things that they're doing, but I don't know how. Like, let's just run through scenes that we like.
Yeah.
It's just like what we do, Sean. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Here's some funny scenes, and Princess Bride. Here's something that we liked. You know? So off the bat, we have coming in SWAT truck.
Yeah, like that, like straight. And I love watching it after obviously watching Saving Private Ryan, and obviously even before I saw the movie, I know the scene.
Oh, yeah.
But it is so evocative of that scene,
totally.
And it does a great job.
They're riffing off that.
Did you watch it in Indonesian?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I have the Blu-ray.
They have a dubbed version?
I think on the Blu-ray I can watch it in like several different languages.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
It's just Indonesian with English subtitles.
Yeah.
But I was like messing around with that. I was like, oh, I hit a button. And then I had to figure out. I was like, oh shit. Hold
on. But yeah, and then they get to the building.
Yeah.
And it's just
they get in and they're like, well, they had the instance with the guy who's a doctor.
Yep.
And then it's like go. And then all of a sudden they're in. They bit off a lot more than they thought.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of the plot in a nutshell. Bit off more than they thought. Yeah. These guys were not ready.
And then credit where credit's due for the Indonesian task force, because it's not just the one guy who knows how to fight. Like, they all know how to fucking fight. Am I down again?
Yeah.
Let me try something. Take some weight off it.
Let's see.
Back.
But yeah, magically it's everybody knows how to fight, not just one guy.
Oh yeah. That's part of being on the task force, apparently.
That's it. You got to know how to fight.
Even the old guy.
And there's a specific fighting style that's called pencak silat.
Yeah.
That's like this specific Indonesian martial art.
Yeah.
But yeah, so run me through, you've seen this movie a lot more than I have.
I have.
And it's also, this is probably the longest we've ever gone between watching and recording.
Yeah, that's why it's good that I have
I think it's about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So go ahead. What do we hit next? What's our next
So then,
scene?
so then they go up, and then like all of a sudden they're like, all right, cops are here.
Yep.
There's price on their head, basically. And go get them. Because everyone who lives in that apartment is aware that they are living under the rule of a drug lord, basically.
And some of them are more involved versus they're just living there.
Some of there who
knowing
do what they
that it's like a bargain.
Yeah. And like you got to kind of be cool with what's going on.
Well, it happens. The alarm that sounded is when the kids
hit the button.
Yeah. So they're chasing these two kids, and the gunshot goes off and kills the one, and the other kid goes running.
Yeah. And then you even find out that obviously later on that he's obviously all the cops like higher up that aren't there are on the payroll.
Yep.
And this guy is like the guy who's leading this without authority. So no one knows they're there. They destroy the truck. Mm-hmm. They have snipers outside the building shooting at the building.
Yep.
So it's like, don't go by the windows. Yeah. You're not leaving. Like your only way out is to like really finish this off.
Yeah.
And and then as you're just working your way up, like there's crazier scenes, like the scene when the lights go out. Mm-hmm. And there's just the people on the higher level like aiming down, mm-hmm. and they don't see them, and they have the SWAT crew like down low, and then one of them does it shoots into the door because someone was opening it, and mm-hmm. the muzzle like lights up, and then gives them all away, and then it's a fucking firefight. Yeah.
And there's a scene pretty early on with the floorboards.
Oh yeah,
where it's like they're
chopping them away with the axe. Yeah.
Chopping through to try to get out because they have no other way.
They turn the fridge into basically like a force mm-hmm. bang that way out the door.
The character that I like, so Joe Taslim, who plays Jaka.
Yeah, the captain.
He
gets a tragic end.
He is such a cool character where it's like he's all about this. He knows mm-hmm. all about it. And then he has this showdown.
With Mad Dog, yeah.
And it's pretty great. That's one of the like... I would say there are probably 3 or 4 really
big fight set
long,
pieces,
cool fight scenes.
Yeah,
that's one of them. I really like him as a character, and the choreography in his scene is really good.
No, yeah, and obviously there's no way we can do the choreography justice over a podcast format.
Oh, it's impossible.
But like, so that scene we were just talking about, right? Like where they're chopping the floor, they go down a level, like. They're fighting people as this is going on. There's guns involved. But they try and keep most things like mm-hmm. physical combat. Mm-hmm. And then everyone's going down into that next floor. Then they're fighting people there. Then they go back up. Like it's crazy that they did all this in an apartment complex, basically, and like shot it in there. It doesn't, and you don't feel the thing that about the like overall this whole movie where it's like it's tight. But it doesn't feel tight, and you can see everything. And they do work angles. Like, this is how I would shoot a Batman movie.
Be pretty cool.
Yeah. Like, this is what I would work
So,
with.
the thing, the juxtaposition here between these crazy muzzle flare, ridiculous-looking CGI, like, gunfire, mixed with the most beautiful choreography of, like, hand-to-hand combat is just such an interesting combo.
Well, that's the thing. There's like, only that stuff, I mean, obviously, is like CGI. Like, there's no like CGI jumps or anything like that. Like, everything else is like practical in the movie, which looks great. And then obviously you got like a little like, all right, we had to spend money on cheap effects in 2012.
Yeah.
But that's not why you're here.
No, I just find it interesting. It's such an interesting combo. I think one scene that jumps out to me is when you have our main guy, Rama. Mm-hmm. There's been a bunch of death already, and he's in the hallway. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I remember is he's fighting through the hallway and the way the camera's moving, and then the door breaks, and he like one of the guys goes down into the broken part of the door.
Okay, so that has always been
so cool.
The one movement that looks a little like funky when he jumps backwards and slams him onto the door, like a little like guillotine, basically reverse. Yeah, like the way he moves in that is so bizarre to me.
And the way that the way that whole scene is filmed and stuff is nuts.
Oh yeah, there's so many like one shot looking takes that you can definitely like feel. Oh, this is where Daredevil came from. There's so much. The way the camera moves is like. So let's jump to another scene. Yeah. We're gonna jump to him versus the Machete Men, basically.
Okay, yeah.
Because like, so at a certain point, they're running around.
Yeah, but this is right after that scene.
Yeah. Like, so they finally like catch up with him and like find out where he is after he dumped off the injured guy. And he runs down a hallway. They're at the other end. Even him at the door, and they do a shot from the bottom of the door up, and it's just you're getting light from the door onto his face, and it's like for no reason does that need to be there, but it looks so good.
Looks good.
And then that scene is fucking crazy, like because the way you're in the hallway with them, the way they shoot motion in this, like because there's so much that's fluid, and then when something stops, the camera will stop, and you feel like you're getting the whiplash from it. Like you're like, oh, like it hits and it doesn't like fluidly move anymore. It hurts.
I agree.
And then there's like a shot in that same scene, a shot from above where it's 2-on-1 to each side of the hallway. And they actually took that shot. I don't know if, obviously I can't say like they definitely took it from, but I saw something very similar show up in Iron Fist.
Okay.
In the hallway with the Hatchet Man.
Yeah.
And it's like the same bounce back forth angle. And it's just like, oh my God. Like,
well, again, remember that this movie is informed by a lot of, kung fu and...
No, 100%. But I'm just saying like, it's what inspired.
It's like volleying back and forth. That's really cool. Of like all different action stuff from like over the years, And
like this movie could have been shot just like, we're here. Like they do so much more with the camera.
Yeah.
And it's so good, like, and it just feels so much better and elevated as a fighting movie than like a lot of stuff you've seen.
Something I love around this part is when they're in the like little wall space.
Oh, and he's stabbing the wall.
The wall. Yeah. And he does the stab on the cheek.
Gets him on the cheek.
Gets him.
And then he
has to clean
the
it
blade
off before it comes out. Like there's just this to me, this movie. It sounds derogatory, and it kind of is.
Go for it.
This movie is a 13-year-old's like. This movie's a genius because it has everything that's thought through is like. Man, would that be so cool? Because you think about it. It sounds like you're like, the 13-year-old boys are like talking to each other.
This is a wish list.
And then we could do it like this. And then
this is like, this is a 13-year-old's dream come true.
It really is.
And you're like, oh my God. And then if you grew up like watching all these fighting movies like that, you're like, oh my God, thank God.
Yeah. Big twist that we mentioned. One of the top dogs in here, not Mad Dog, the other guy,
have his name
is his brother.
Andy, right?
Yeah. He is our main character, Rama's brother.
Yeah.
So Donnie Alamsaya is Andy, basically the right hand of the top guy.
Yeah.
And he finds him pretty quickly. They notice each other. It's a whole thing. And then pretty soon they're teaming up, and I really like the
2-on-1.
The 2-on-1 is. The 2-on-1 is like the scene.
Yeah. That is a big scene. That is
the scene.
Even the way
it goes on for 10 minminutes.
Yeah. That was like
it's light bulbs breaking over each other. And
even the room.
The room is awesome. It's nuts.
Because like it's again, this is like 13-year-old brain like brilliance, right? They're moving around the room. Like if you've been on a set, usually it's like, okay, everything's on this side.
And this is like they're using the whole room.
So lights are up. Like there's no camera. There's no director in there. So he's probably watching on a monitor outside the room. The light coming in with the fan. Like, and the cameraman's just moving around the room.
Yeah.
Not catching any behind the scenes.
And that scene, there are so many moments where you think one of them's going to die.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just keep fighting. And that guy in particular, the guy who plays Mad Dog, which is
I have his name
Yayan Ruhian, is like, I mean, he's the most skilled out of the whole crew.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's insane.
Yeah.
He's so good.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Just like, also like the flip on the switch. And like playing that, like he said he wanted, so in the movie before this that he shot, he played like a more grounded character. He's like, I want to play a bad guy, like who is bad. And he's like, oh, well, you got that.
Definitely got that.
Yeah. And like even when they show up in that scene, so Rama shows up.
Yeah.
And his brother's just chained up, like hanging from the thing, like from the meat, like a meat locker, just getting wailed on as he's waiting for him. And he goes, okay. And then he lets him down and goes, all right, you two fight me. It's like, crazy. Oh, okay. And they're just like, fuck. And then they do the flip, kick the light, break the bulb.
Yeah.
To the jugular and
so
rip it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And especially seeing that guy kill the other guy, the sergeant. What was his name?
Jaka. Yeah.
Seeing him do the neck
twist, and he was about to do it again.
To the brother. And it's.
Yeah.
That scene's very good.
Yeah. That's probably the scene. I really love that machete hallway sequence so much.
Very good.
Because even like, again, when we were talking about the camera stuff, where it's like he catches a leg from that one guy, swings him, and there's an aerial shot.
Yeah.
And it's moving along with him, and then he hits the wall, and it's just donk.
Yeah, and it's hard stop.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's, like the whole momentum.
The thing that Gareth Evans knows how to do is to make you feel the impact of these hits.
Yeah, and then
it's very skilled in that way.
And even just like, and then when they're moving, the fluid movements are fluid.
Yeah,
like you're not like, oh, where are we with this camera? Because obviously a lot of it's on hands.
Yeah,
and great job by Matt Flannery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you want to jump to? We get like interspersed a couple scenes of the guy that's kind of runs the gang here, the guy that owns the building, whatever.
Yeah.
Doing various heinous things, like just shooting people in the head.
Oh yeah, he's a bad guy to be a bad guy. He loves it.
Yeah, it's very. There ain't nothing subtle going on.
No,
here.
And that was another also like thing about. I think someone wanted to play that as well. They were just like, we want to make him despicable.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, oh, he's a complicated.
I think the only other guy that I wanted to talk about is the guy he's like a dirty cop maybe, and he's been taking money from these guys or something, and he has that like crisis of conscience where he's like, am I gonna kill myself or am I gonna?
No. So he wasn't dirty. He's one that isn't dirty. He just did the operation without authority from anybody.
Oh, that's right.
Because he's like, everyone else won't approve it. Yeah.
He made the decision to bring everyone in here.
Yeah,
without
and risk their
getting
lives.
clearance.
Yeah, because he's like, everyone else is corrupt or whatever, and he's like, I'll bust them and then I'll move up. About it. Yeah. And then they're like, you're not going anywhere. And then he calls him out on that, and that's when he shoots him.
Yeah.
And every time, like, you're not counting those bullets. And he goes to kill himself, which again, I think is a great scene. Yeah. Goes to kill himself. Yeah. Nothing. And then they're like, all right, you're coming with us. And he goes out in cuffs. Mm-hmm. And I like that. Like, listen, this is propaganda to a degree. But I think it does shit on it enough. It's like a fantasy world. I also think it, like, pulls on it enough where it's like, hey, they're not superheroes. Like, obviously it's all about corrupt cops and shit too.
I mean, Rama's a superhero.
Rama is a superhero. Well, that's a very unique case. But that's why even the brother at the end gives him the tape.
Yeah.
And he's like, here, find somebody.
Yeah.
He's like, they can't all be.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
that's right. See, this is what happens 2 weeks.
Yeah. and then at the end he's like, I'm still gonna be a criminal though. And he's like, okay.
So see you later.
See you later.
What else you want to hit? This is what I mean by this type of movie.
No. Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a short episode because it's like, what are you gonna?
Yeah. Well, the scene where it's Rama, some other guy who's left who can also fight, and the older guy.
Okay.
And they go into like that, like basically the drug lab scene.
Oh yeah.
And like there's shit flying around, and even the old guy's fighting, and like they're throwing shit.
Yeah.
And then, like, they're fighting on the fucking tables, and they're whamming people into the fucking tables. And, like, again, everyone can fight in this fucking movie. It's crazy, but it's awesome. And, again, they're doing shit on, like, flipping on table, off table. It's hitting people with chairs.
They knew what they were doing.
I said, this is a stunt coordinator's wet dream, and I delivered.
It is.
But, yeah, and, again, the cinematography is great throughout the whole thing. You never feel like you're like, oh, I can't see... Like, oh, it's too far, it's too tight, it's bored, and you're never bored. Like
no,
yeah, and
it's just not.
No,
yeah, they don't allow anything.
No, there's no break.
There's no downtime.
Like even the downtime is still like tense.
Yeah, big time.
Like even so, we mentioned the guy that they run into at the beginning. He's a doctor, and then they end up going to his door for there's a guy who's hurt. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're saying, where they're hiding in his house, and they're stabbing, the machete guys are stabbing through this like secret passage, and then stops eventually. But again, like I think that was kind of cool, where it's like, oh, like we're nice to this guy sort of, and he was like, all right, I'll return it, because his sick wife's like, fuck them, and it's like, well, come on. But yeah. Again, the plot of this is like, there's a plot, and it's enough. They don't try too much, which I appreciate, because it could have been like...
And this is what we can move on to here. The movie doesn't really work for me. I think there's I think there's enough here to be like, wow, like awesome shit.
Yeah.
Like definitely worth seeing that shit.
Yeah.
To me, I would rather watch the 3 or 4 scenes in like a supercut 30-minute and be like, that was sick, versus
I can
watch
get
the
that.
whole movie, because I don't think the movie itself works. Like it's not like it doesn't do anything for me except for those incredible fight scenes, which is just like, that's what you're paying for the price of admission, right?
Yeah.
So I think the thing that I'll say about the movie is like, I think it's extremely successful in what it's doing, and the choreography and cinematography and the way that the action's filmed is insane, and I love it.
Yeah.
And to me, that isn't why I like movies, and I think that's why this was never going to be like one of my movies.
No, I knew picking this movie was a very unique thing, and that's part of why I picked it. Was because it's like I think stunt coordinating should be part of the Oscars.
It is this year.
Finally. But I'm saying,
first time.
But like, I think that is a part of the industry.
Yeah.
That
gets
it's like,
overlooked and underappreciated.
Yeah, and like this is an amazing thing that they like. I do think this movie is amazing in what they did, but I don't think this is like trying to be Citizen Kane,
and it's not,
or make
and that's
you
why
think.
you have to give it credit for like. This is what I'll say. It's like there's enough shit that I don't care about that's in here.
Yeah.
That is why I said like I'd rather watch the 30-minute supercut.
Yeah.
But it's not. Like, it's not pretending to be something. It's
no,
not.
And that's
like,
why I
there
said,
is no,
like, they're not like pushing too much plot on you. Like, there's movies that have done that, right? Where you're like, oh, it's a good fighting movie, but it's like, oh my god, what the hell?
Deal with this and that.
So and so's sister or whatever. Yeah. Where it's like, listen, this is here, so this is not just people punching each other for what is it? 170 or something like that.
Yeah.
But like
101 minutes.
101 minutes. But we gave you the format. Yeah. Because even if you like, what, like, all right, let's move on to what this has evolved into is John Wick. Like, you're not like, wow. Like, I'm not like, listen, I like the John Wick movies. I'm not blown away by a lot of the acting in those movies for the most part.
No.
And that's not what we're there for.
That's not what you're there for. To me, here's the difference.
Yeah.
I think I prefer a movie like John Wick because it has, when you're not in the fight scenes, it has enough style and intrigue and whatever it's going for. Whereas this, it's like when you're not in the fight scenes, you're like, just get me to a fight scene.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they linger because they don't. Like you said, it's tense throughout. But anytime characters are talking to each other in this movie, I'm like, okay. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And that's, again, that's...
Yeah,
it is what it is. I don't think it's
I'll agree. Like,
yeah.
emotional stakes are not there in this movie. 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, to me, it's just because the thing that I'm trying to get out of movies, period, it doesn't exist here. This was always gonna like it has a ceiling for me.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like I enjoyed what it is.
Yeah,
I enjoyed those scenes, but it's just not my thing.
No, I got you. But again, I'm not trying to make the case where it's like it should be your thing.
No,
but
you're
saying,
also far from alone. There's a lot of people that love this movie. This is not like
and again, this is like the thing where it's like I can watch. There are different reasons for me to watch movies. Like I can enjoy them in for different reasons, different things, and different ways. Like you hate Saltburn.
Hate it.
And that's perfectly acceptable, obviously. I enjoy Saltburn.
Yeah.
Not the way a lot of other people enjoy Saltburn. But I enjoy it, and that's how I enjoy the movie. And that's why I appreciate it. Like, but again, this is again very like technical, like looking back. Obviously I watched this when it came out. Yeah. Like I was like, ooh. And this was like amazing. But you still see, like, I still think this movie like obviously paved the way for things like these to continue. And it's still just like, again, those fight scenes,
incredible,
amazing,
incredible, some of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like they're incredible.
The Raid 2 also has some great ones. Obviously, I know you don't want to sit through the whole thing, but they're not also just inside one building, so that kind of helps it a little. There's a car scene, there's a kitchen scene in a restaurant that's pretty iconic as well.
Nice. Here's the best way for me to put it.
Yeah.
I am not like when we talk about my favorite movies of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
There really aren't any action movies on there. There are movies that have action.
Yeah.
Like I think of like One Battle After Another has some really good action moments and good scenes. There's like things in these movies that I really, really like that are action. I also really like some action movies. Usually my favorite action movies also have interesting character work or story or whatever.
Well, no, and that's like where I think like John Wick definitely has better world building, and it has a lot better actors in it. Like
it does, yeah. But I also, to me, John Wick is below things like some of like what I would consider like these are some of my favorite action movies.
I'm just using it as like a more relevant modern example.
But I'm just saying like there's stuff that I really like in here. And it's just everything else around it doesn't do anything for me, so it makes it be like, this is the amount that I can enjoy something. I enjoyed it. Like I maxed out on like how much I like these fight scenes because they're top of the top. Yeah, and then it doesn't have anything else for me, so it's just it's going to be capped.
No, and I do think a lot of people look at this film in that same way, and and that's what it is. But again, like. It's just like for what it does do is just so much to me, and I'm just like, oh my god, like
it's excellent.
Inject it into my veins.
Excellent at what it's going for. Yeah,
and again, it's the same thing. Like sometimes I just can't watch war movies. Like they do not do well with me, apparently.
Yeah, which again, we're all gonna have
preferences and stuff.
Totally,
which is great.
It is funny. I'm looking at my top 25 all time.
Mm-hmm. Raid's not making top 25.
Well, I don't think there's a single what you would call an action movie in there.
No, and it's funny because I think
There Will Be Blood is maybe the closest you get to like
action movie.
Well, what I mean is like the feeling that you get in a like tension. But like Blade Runner.
That's the first one. That's not action.
I'm not saying it's action.
Oh, okay.
I don't have one.
Okay. I thought you were bringing them up as examples.
I'm trying to say what gets closest to. Like this, it's just not my mode.
No.
What I enjoy.
To be fair, I don't think action movies are my big thing. But like when it comes to like fighting movies, it's a little different. Like I can appreciate those a lot more.
And I have basically no relationship to fighting movies.
Yeah. Oh no. This is again the same like growing up and like falling into the same vein as Tarantino in that way, where it's like, oh, I watched all these old films and like Jackie Chan, Drunken Fist, and all that stuff like that, like Bruce Lee movies, and Enter the Dragon game. Yeah,
that's stuff that I just couldn't really care about.
I
really like Kill Bill a lot.
Yeah.
It's the bottom of my Tarantino stuff, and it's not. But that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like I just don't think these are really for me.
No, that's fair.
And it's not that I can't. Yeah. Like that's what I'm trying to say is like it's not that I can't recognize and enjoy the things that are good about them.
No.
It's just like. They're never going to be like a fave,
No, and as like if we're looking at like whole movies, obviously there are better films.
Oh yeah,
sure. I'm not going to pretend that like this should be everyone's favorite.
But like everything, right? It's like how high are the highs for you that make this stand out as like this is one of my favorite movies. That's what matters. Yeah, that's what I try to say about like even a movie like Interstellar, which is one of my favorite movies. It's like there's a lot of stuff in Interstellar that I can say flat out doesn't work.
No, 100%.
But the highs are so high for me that it outweighs the stuff that doesn't work, and it makes me think of that movie as like, it's fucking massive. It's an amazing movie. That's what and that's the Raid in a nutshell. Is like, I'm not going to sit here and say every frame of this movie is
no
perfect and amazing. But the highs loom large, and it makes it so
for
like,
me,
so like this is one of your favorite movies. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like I feel like that's a very valid way of thinking about.
Yeah, 100%. And like again, I've talked about it. Like it is the action, like the way it is coordinated is crazy. Like every movement, like you like people's arm unfold into other movements. Like it is. Yeah. There is no movement wasted in this film.
And there is such the thing that I find interesting about martial arts, especially in movies, right? Yeah. And that this does very well, is there's such a fine line between WWE.
Yeah.
It's a fine line of like, I am doing these moves and we're grabbing each other and doing things like the choreography of that to make it look as good as it looks and feel as real as it feels. Like that is such an art because these are such complicated moves.
Yeah.
It's very skilled.
Yeah. Like a good example, right? We watch this and we watch UFC.
Yeah.
One of them is a lot more visually stimulating than the other, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think like that's where it's like watching the coordination in this movie is like watching the ballet to me.
Because it is.
Because it's
amazing.
Movement and synchronized.
Yeah.
Like this all had to be done. And like obviously not everyone is gonna like I'm not saying like everyone should be thinking about this all the time while watching the movie, but like when you do think about that, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like the physicality of this. Like you feel like you worked out after watching this movie. You're like, holy fuck. Like, and imagine all these people doing all this shit. And it's like, they all had to do this. This isn't like CGI Spider-Man either. You know what I mean? Like, this happened.
I know.
And that's what's like so impressive to me.
It's
and like,
so impressive.
That's why I feel like this movie deserves that accolation of like, this is something I want to present to the class. And I think it should be seen. It doesn't have to be your favorite. It doesn't have to, you don't have to think it's great, but I think it's something that should be seen.
And I think it was very well worth my time, and I think everyone should watch it because it is. I do want to know what your wife thought. She said she liked it. She did.
Yeah.
I think she probably liked it a little more than I did, even.
Probably.
But to me, it's like on it, like to like I can appreciate all that technical.
Yeah.
And I can say like, God damn, that's awesome.
No,
like, that's fantastic. Yeah. Great job. And then at the end of the day,
be like, and this is where this is where it sits.
Because it's how much do you care about that at the end of the day?
No, yeah.
Like rather than like from a like a academic standpoint, I can be like, this is top of the top when it comes to XYZ.
Yeah,
look at what it does and this and that, and it's a 3 stars.
Yep.
And it's like, and that's I feel like that's a good, to me it makes sense to think about things like that where it's like how I feel about it at the end of the day and how much it's going to sit with me and linger and I'm going to think about it is what I actually end up feeling about it. So it's like that's what matters to me. Like I'm never going to look at something and be like, well, it does everything. This is this and this, right? Yeah. So it's a 5-star thing.
No, I agree.
You have to. How does it make you feel, and how do you care about it?
Yeah, no.
Like
what do you, ultimately, it's like again, these aren't like we're not again, like you said, we're not rating these academically and like breaking down a film class here.
Right.
These are all personal opinions.
It's not like these old like GameSpot reviews where it's like, all right.
Graphics,
5 out of 5. This 5 out of 5. Yeah. It's like we're not doing that, and I don't believe in that shit.
No, I agree.
I feel like you need to. What matters is how much does this make you feel and care?
No,
and that's any emotion.
Yeah,
I say feel. That doesn't mean it has to be dramatic.
Positive or negative.
Well, what I mean, it doesn't have to be this like, overwrought dramatic thing that makes you do X, Y, Z. It's like the highs of an action movie can be just as important. It just depends on the individual of like, what do you value? How do you care
feel
about?
On it? Yeah. And that's where, again, this is the difference between like arts and like sports, where it's like we can look at the statistics of like how good someone is and be like, oh, well, here we go. Yeah, exactly. Where it's like versus like, no, this doesn't work like that.
It's like, so to me, I think about like action movie franchises of recent history.
Okay.
Couldn't care less about Fast and the Furious.
Growing up, loved it.
Me too. 1, 2, Tokyo Drift.
1, 2, Tokyo Drift. I was excited when 4 came back. I was like, all right. And then I was like, okay, these are getting silly. But like, I think the last one I saw was the last one with Paul Walker. And I was like, that was like my, like, this is as far as I'm going, buddy. I'm going as far as Paul Walker went.
And for these kind of movies, if I think about, and this is just to have a conversation here.
Yeah.
If I think about like popcorn movies that I enjoy, I'm the type that I'd much rather see a good schlocky horror movie than a good silly action movie.
Yeah.
And that's just like a personal like Final Destination Bloodlines came out last year. Fucking loved it.
Yeah.
It was silly, it was ridiculous sometimes, but cool through line, great kills, like loved it.
Yeah.
That to me does so much more than even the top of the top action. and I don't know like what it is or why it is. It just it's the personal preference of like what do you care about, what hits you.
I think horror is easier to do that with. I think it lends itself to it in a way.
Well, I think historically it's always been action that brings people to the theater and like
no. But I mean like to almost enjoy it. I don't want to say ironically, but like you can kind of do that.
I always think of horror and action as two sides of that same coin. Of like people love schlocky action movies and schlocky horror movies. Like those are like the things that people talk about.
But I feel like you have to like know you're doing it when you do the action, because a lot of the action will take itself, I feel like, too seriously, and then you're like, all right, well, this isn't fun. Sure, so it's like you got to jump the shark. Yeah, and I think both genres run risk of falling into that middle ground and being like, oh my god, why are you doing this? No, you're taking it too seriously. I mean, we got Scream just came out again, right? Yeah,
and those first couple Screams are a good example of like those are playing around with the fact that
the genre itself.
But I think, and that's sometimes you get action movies that do that kind of stuff, which is fun. But like, I think it's just personal preference. I'll always like if I'm thinking about like I just want to be brain off entertained. I'm never like leaning action.
But like I agree, because I don't like the Expendables and like things like that. Yeah, like maybe the first one or something like I've seen, but I'm not going to turn into 4 or 5, whatever. But again, I also don't. I always separate fighting movies and action movies when it's specifically like these types of movies, like Donnie Yen, Ip Man, like Tony Jaa and Umbach and stuff like that. Like, and then you have like, I think like where it would be different would be like even then, like The One with Jet Li and Jason Statham. Yeah, like okay, that is more actiony, right? Again, these are the movies that I was watching when I was younger.
And it is funny because there are movies like, I think of John Woo, like Face Off is a movie that I loved growing up.
Yeah, would you say that's an action movie?
Yeah.
I would say thriller.
Yeah, I mean, it's a combo.
Okay. But what makes that movie great is not the action.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Most of the action movies that do stick with me aren't because...
Right. But I wouldn't put those in the action category, I guess.
But the newer stuff, the stuff that I really like... Okay. And I say newer, but the Bourne movies I really like.
Okay, I never actually seen those.
Those are like espionage thriller with action set pieces and cool choreography, fighting and stuff.
It's like Mission Impossible.
Another example, Mission Impossible franchise, the newer Mission Impossibles, I think are very good. Same with the Bourne stuff. These. Even those the best of the best, I'm just they just don't stick with me.
No, I agree.
And so that's why I'm just trying to couch it in a way of like we may as well go into it, but for me this is a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
And it's a very positive 3 out of 5. Yeah. That's I can see all the things it's doing well and I appreciate all the things it's doing well. It's more like I appreciate it more than I like it. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I think, and honestly, like that's kind of why I brought this. Yeah, it was like I wasn't like everyone's gonna be like, I love this movie, it's changed my life. But like, I think watching someone do this with again 1.1 mil,
such a worthy watch. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like there is nothing that I was like, ugh.
Yeah, like you never want to, like you're not going to turn it off. Also, it's like again 70 minutes or 101 minutes. We said right. Like,
yeah. If it was 70 minutes, I might have thought a little higher than that.
70 minutes. You could probably cut it down a little tighter. But no, yeah. Again, if it was like 2 hours long, like get out of here. Yeah. But no, and obviously for me, it's 5 out of 5.
It's on your faves. Yeah,
5 out of 5. You love it. Again, there's nostalgia, and it's a genre thing for me. Yeah. Like I love the fighting movies. I love when it's like, and it can get cheesy, and I've seen them get cheesy quick, and it doesn't get cheesy. Like it's like, here's a plot. It's enough of a plot. And watching it again, like, cause it's been a while since I watched it. Right. And just seeing the camera work and like the stunts in like working together and like synchronized the way it is just like, this was amazing. Like to watch that shit unfold. Like if I again, like just watching those scenes, if I just pulled up all those scenes and we just watched those scenes, it is something to watch. It is insane to watch. Yeah. I don't think I've seen something quite like that. and like maybe the John Wick movies come close to it nowadays, but like it's a different beast altogether because it's like we have a much bigger budget, we have different things, CGI, blah blah blah. I don't know how much is used in John Wick, but
when we're talking about action movies, we didn't talk about superhero movies at all.
No,
but I think those are the interesting.
That's probably the evolution of an action movie.
It is. It definitely is. Yeah. And I enjoy them.
Yeah.
Don't really care about them. Like they do not like. This is what I'm trying to get at. It's like I don't think there really is an action movie that is going to be like, this is my movie.
Right.
Like I think of like Terminator and Aliens and Terminator 2.
Sci-fi, Predator.
Yeah. Even Predator gets too, like, I like it.
Yeah.
But that's more on that actiony side of like, then you get to Rambo and all that. And it's like, those are things I like. Don't really care about them.
Yeah.
Like it is just interesting. Like this is the first time I'm like realizing myself,
having
like,
the epiphany.
Like, yeah, I guess I'm just not like an action guy.
And I think like it's only so much substance for you. Mm-hmm. So if you want something more, you're gonna want something more.
Right.
And that's why even like how we just kind of realized we're like, oh, I guess the superhero movies are the action movies now. Because the action isn't what we're watching for.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. We can, like, Civil War, it was literally like, let me take all my toys out of the toy box and smash them together, which was fun. Yeah. But, like, that wasn't everything of that movie. Like, I do think, like, the crisis that Stark is having is much more interesting than bang, 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 bang. And like, oh, Bucky, like playing sitting the fence with Bucky and Captain America, and then them having the confrontation at the end, and yes, which led to a fight. But those stakes are more interesting than the actual like bang, bang, bang.
Of course,
and especially because everything's like CGI slop at this point. That's really
the thing.
And this movie doesn't have as much of that.
No, well, it has none of it in the fight scenes, which are the important parts.
Exactly.
Yeah. Favorite scene? For me, I think it's. I mentioned it, but I think it's the 2-on-1.
Yeah,
that's my. I think most impactful scene of like, damn.
I think that is the like set piece of the movie, what we've all been waiting for. But I'm gonna say like, it'd be easy to say that. I'm gonna say the machete hallway scene it's
really good.
It's so good.
It's really good.
What was Oz's ranking?
What'd you give it? He didn't give me a star ranking, but he said, he said, fights are awesome.
Yeah.
Don't really care.
Yeah.
Not in my 10.
No, I didn't think it was gonna be that was 10.
No, well, I'm sharing.
I got you. But no star ranking.
No, he either said 3 or 3.5. I forget what he said.
It's like I wanted a number.
Yeah, we'll make him say it next time.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's.
But when we were chatting about it, he said 3 or 3.5.
Again, I think it's something. I don't think we have anything like this on any of our lists. Obviously, I don't know because there's a bunch of movies I haven't seen.
That's true.
But
that's true. Best performance, I'm giving it to Iko Uwais for Rama. I really like him a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's obviously, there's not a lot of acting moments.
No.
But I just like him as a total package of like, he does have, I think he's the best actor in the group, but he also is great martial artist.
Yeah.
So
it's really what
he's kind of like the total package of like, he kind of has what you want out of
You're never
like
on his emotional moments. You're never, you're like, okay.
He's good. He's
I buy
selling it. Yeah.
I think it helps that it's in Indonesian as well.
I would, yeah.
I
think like you're probably right.
This feels important.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a Mad Dog.
Okay,
that's my boy.
Okay, so Mad Dog is
it's close with him and Rama, but
Yayan Ruhian.
Yes.
And then we're on to Ozzy's pick. So he scooped me of what he wants to watch out of his 5 faves.
Did he give you like a little pitch on it or no?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh, so
I've seen his whole list.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well,
so it's just aimed at me.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, I think when we were doing this...
No, yeah.
When we were doing this whole project, I think that was par for the course. So because it's not on my list, it's not on Oz's list. We don't need to go through those. We'll do that on the next one.
Yeah. They're the same as they were last week.
Yeah. Play it back. But he wants to go. So his 5 faves that are remaining. So we did There Will Be Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good movie.
I agree. If you read my top 10, you'd know where it sits.
He has The Secret in Their Eyes, which actually I have not seen. So
The Lion.
Then he has No Country for Old Men, Children of Men, and Sicario.
Okay, so
as his other 3 other than The Secret in Their Eyes.
Okay, so I'm going to guess.
Okay.
We've seen There Will Be Blood.
Yes.
That's the only one we've seen of those, correct?
Yep.
I'm going to guess Sicario.
Wrongo.
Was it the one before that?
Children of Men.
No, okay. I thought maybe Country for Old Men was the other one.
No Country for Old Men, again, famously is the movie that won Best Picture against There Will Be Blood.
Right.
And he has them both in
That
there.
is really funny.
Yeah. So Children of Men we're going for.
Okay. Was that the one that he like took off and on or whatever? Is that a different movie I'm thinking of?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I would have to go back and look.
Viewers, let us know.
Yeah. Write in and let us know. Children of Men is a 2006 Alfonso Cuarón. What?
There Will Be Blood was 2007?
Yeah. No Country
for Old Men
2007.
2006. Remember when I said I had a blind spot and it was about that time frame? It's that time frame?
That's funny.
That is really funny.
We're clearing up all your blind spots.
Yeah.
That's kind of this pitch here.
Yeah.
This movie is a post-apocalyptic. It's very, let's say, prescient in the time since. The bigger pitch of it is post-apocalyptic. Something happens where people can no longer have children.
Okay.
And the world starts falling apart.
Right.
And Cuarón is a very skilled director. I don't know if you've seen a lot of his movies.
I don't think so.
He did Gravity, Roma, Y Tu Mama Tambien. What else did he do? Damn, I'm blanking. Very skilled director.
Okay.
Children of Men is like very, very well liked and renowned movie. Like if you think of like critically beloved movies, this is definitely up there.
The name sounds like it would be. It sounds very important.
Yeah. It is just a striking movie. Really good set piece. The whole shtick is it's like mostly a oneer. Like most of the movie.
What do you mean?
A one shot.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So it's like
interesting.
Yeah. They're very memorable.
So it almost feels. Does it feel like documentary-ish?
Kind of.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of like
commentary on it.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I just meant the way it was shot.
It's really quite a good movie.
I believe you.
I'm excited to watch it. But
that was another thing about because we talked about that with Hurt Locker, and when they were doing in the raid, there are like certain scenes that reminded me of that, the way we went through places and things like that. Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm felt like you were there on the raid.
That's it. I'm looking at where it's streaming. It looks like we're gonna have a $4 on pick your streaming service.
You saw that meme
Amazon,
that Ozzy sent, right?
YouTube. What was that?
The movie you want to watch is not on one of my 13 streaming services. You could pay $2.99 for it. It's like, damn it.
Classic.
Yeah. Bring back hard media, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll be doing that on the next episode.
Sweet.
I think that's gonna wrap this one up.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you, Dave, for being here.
Check my notes real quick. Yeah, I think we're good.
Thanks for being here, Dave.
Always.
We missed you, Oz. We'll catch you on the next one.
In absentia, great job.
Yep. And imagine you just chimes in at the end.
That'd
Thanks,
be crazy. We should just edit that in from a different episode.
Yeah. Hello. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys out there for listening. Hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Again, you can find us at the First Watch Pod on Instagram.
Yep.
firstwatchpod@gmail.com if you want to
please.
write us in some emails.
Just me and Dan sending emails back to each other.
Back and forth. And yeah, we're on YouTube now.
We are.
We're the First Watch Pod on
Yes,
YouTube.
it's up.
Okay.
We had some copyright stuff that seemed to have cleared, so we're good. Which is interesting for a show that we make ourselves.
Yeah, we will not we will not comment any further on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, catch us on any of those, and stay tuned next time for Children of Men. And until next time, peace.